Scoundrels web series and podcast is filmed and recorded in their ship, the Centurion Vulture, and may contain language not suitable for all. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Scoundrels, y'all. We are back and we are broadcasting in the Centurion Vulture. I am CG.
I'm Paul Bannister.
Curtis Wayne Miller standing by.
We are three grown-ass men who are once again sitting here to talk about Star Wars. We did take, I would call it a break. I don't think any of us have not been very busy. If anything, we've been so busy that we haven't done as much in this world. Obi-Wan was winding down, not as much going on.
There's a lot too. We did, 5 straight weeks of constant editing that Curtis had to do a lot of.
We were bugging out on Dagobah.
Yeah.
All manner of things.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things to talk about. We wanted to regroup and address some things. You want to get into first, gentlemen? Should we talk light and magic?
Oh man, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, what is new? So there's light and magic, Andor trailer. We still are kind of not really loving, but we don't hate Obi-Wan, but we don't really like it.
Well, we'll do a quick shout out. We have not yet watched it, but we have downloaded. I guess this guy Kai Patterson, I believe is his name, who did a 2.5 hour edit of the entire Obi-Wan series. Again, we do have it downloaded. We admittedly have not gotten around to watching it yet, so we can't discuss how great or not it may be. But we've heard it's great, and that's how we first got hip to it. And for those of y'all that listen to us, I guess mostly bitch for 6 episodes, hope maybe this addresses some of those complaints. If you can trim some of the fat, get some pacing going.
Let's hope he hated the same things we hated.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll probably watch that and report back on that at some point in the future. But let's talk light and magic.
Oh man,
oh my goodness.
I'm sure like a lot of you guys out there, this was really exciting to watch. I couldn't help. Curtis is our resident filmmaker amongst the three of us. I watched this and kind of regretted that I couldn't have been sitting next to Curtis while watching this because it felt like someone sat down and custom built a docuseries for Curtis Millard to watch.
Yeah. I think, anybody that's interested in it or does like dabble in like little effects, like little practical effects like I do, probably felt like that was made for them.
To be clear, for those that don't know, Curtis does all his visual effects, his post-production, all his projects. He creates the miniatures. He does matte backgrounds. I've seen him do all of these things. It's amazing, actually.
Well, if you have yourself like a decent camera and a laptop these days, you kind of have about as much, if not more, technology available to you than they did for like say the last Indiana Jones. What was the one before they got digital?
Last Crusade.
Just for like off the shelf stuff. Filmmakers have like that level of technology to tell their stories.
That's crazy. So Curtis Millard in 2022 can more or less do what ILM in like 1987 could do.
Yeah, if not easier, because we do have the computer to help blend our elements together.
Yeah, sure.
If you watch Light and Magic, all their matting had to be done with film.
Yeah.
Stripping in and doing the mats, which seems fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Oh. Now we can shoot different elements and strip it in with the computer, which is still kind of fucking tedious.
Yeah, sure.
But still, like, to oh my goodness, like, these people are fucking wizards.
Yeah, well, they invented it. And just to be clear, for those that don't know, Light and Magic is a brilliant new docuseries on Disney Plus. Or Disney, whatever the fuck, I don't know.
Yeah,
where you watch Star Wars. It's all about industrial light and magic. It's the story of how it was created. And so, of course, the first 3 episodes are very Star Wars heavy because it was created to make Star Wars.
Yeah.
But then, like everything else, they became like the pioneers for 2 to 3 decades. Still to this day, honestly. Still the best. But in terms of inventing, production effects, they just invented what we understand as special effects for the last. It's not we'll get into it. So we'll talk about it now. If for some reason you don't know what this is and you're a Star Wars fan,
Get in there.
Don't stop
Or
what you're doing
even
now.
just, like,
Finish watching this.
movie
and then,
fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's remarkable. It's not just for Star Wars fans, for what it's worth. It's like Jurassic Park, Back to the Future. I mean, Pixar,
film, yeah.
fucking anything.
Even the Marvel flicks,
Yeah.
the early ones at least. I
Yeah.
don't know about the new ones, but I
think
guess they do own Industrial
They
Light
do
and Magic.
it all.
To me, if you're Disney, buying Industrial Light and Magic is like just worth the investment there.
Talk about a power play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go ahead and take the best effects house in the business, and it's just going to be ours now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't cheap, but
$4.4
Worth it.
billion.
Well, I think, yeah.
if George is out there, I think he gave the
Yeah.
money away.
What were some of y'all's biggest takeaways that you enjoyed
Well,
the
for
most
me,
from that?
I what I loved about it was like I remember watching the first episode, and just like the crew watching these guys like kind of come together and like be creative, and like you just got these really interesting guys who are like they kind of talk down about themselves. Oh, I was just kind of like a kid who just liked to experiment, and you know, for me it was like imagination, how important imagination is.
Yeah.
And you know, as a parent, it's easy to be like, just take my phone for a second. And I had this moment after I watched the first episode. I was like, no, we need to really focus on imagine. I feel like that's important. I mean, I used to Henry and I used to make like movies and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and we do. Shout out to Hell Beast 1 and 2.
Shit.
Hell Beast 1 and 2.
We might need to make a revival
Yeah.
of that.
I wonder if Henry still has those. But you know, it just
Copyright infringement.
I kind of was like, you know what? You know, I think we get so distracted now with how technology. Everything's here. It's so easy to kind of do anything that the imagination aspect of creating art and doing
Yeah.
things is kind of gone.
Sure.
I mean, it's like you said, we have so many on like our new iPhones have like film capability
Yeah.
cameras on them, and it's like.
It's a double-edged
And
sword.
it's great and it's awesome. I mean, you have iMovie on your iPhone. You could like film a movie and,
Yeah.
and edit it and right there on your phone. But I think there is something to be said about practical effects, like kind of, you know, expanding your mind and trying to like, well, how can I do this and make it look cool?
It's all problem solving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is cool how a lot of companies like they stay in one lane and they don't adapt. And it was amazing how they were just smart enough, and George was smart enough to know like, no, we got to push this. It's like, here's my issue. I'm tired of analog. I want this to all be digital.
Yeah.
And how everyone's like, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. And it just, they stuck with it. And now, like,
He's changed the world so many times over.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it really is nuts. There's a memorable scene to that point, CG, where I can't remember her name, but one of the women who worked at ILM, who was previously in the Creature Shop, and she was one. Remember when they were creating the digital wing?
She went over,
and she was one of the few, because there was a bit of a rivalry and a mild hostility, and so that's right. They called it the dark side. And she moved over to digital, and she talked about the moment where I think it was Jurassic Park, where she walked in and saw the first, that infamous test. Because, when they started Jurassic Park, it wasn't going to be CG dinosaurs. They had Phil Tippett was there
Tippett was teed up.
Yeah, they made these things. They made a T-Rex for all these shots, and it was like, man, they're like, let's just take a crack at it. Those guys in the fucking basement with the guy with the Western.
They went Rogue One, man.
They went full. I love that, like, the new tech CG people, different CG, were like the punk rockers of the organization. They're like, we got stashed in the basement, and they're like partying down there. But also literally completely revolutionized the visual effects game for all time.
Yeah, they probably pushed it up like at least 5 years, if not a decade, by going rogue on that film.
Yeah.
Especially since they spent... One thing they don't want to do on movies is spend a bunch of money and not use what they spent the money. But if anyone's going to be able to take a pivot like that, it's going to be this dude named Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, right. little known director.
Small filmmaker.
But they did that test to show everybody, and they had like passed it around. They were kind of quiet about it, and then they finally said, okay, we should sit Spielberg down and show it to him. And it was the shot of the T-Rex coming out in broad daylight. They knew they had to do it in broad daylight.
No secrets.
You couldn't hide behind anything. And I remember that woman saying that she saw that and she had a slight tear form because she realized that this is the moment where this is the future. Because now anything you can think of, you can put on screen.
Which maybe is good.
Maybe
it isn't.
See episode 2, Attack of the Clones, for why it's not good, but we won't get.
It's like a brand new tool they went a little too far on.
Yeah,
and then it started to look kind of shitty. They probably got a little ahead of themselves on the prequels, in my opinion.
Lucas did.
But right now,
George did.
When you're talking about the volume stage, like right now with the new stuff, they're in a perfect mix. They have practical mixed with this new technology, and it feels fine now.
Yeah.
But there was a good period of time when things didn't feel great at all.
Yeah.
Like you could literally have like 20 Transformers storming through a forest, knocking down trees and killing each other, and you didn't even care.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was the thing. It's like the first 3 episodes, I was really into it. And then I think I kind of, when it was just digital, I was like, there was some cool aspects to it. And then when they got in the prequel, I was like, man, they really got in over their head. It's like, you don't need to do this. You don't want them to feel like it's not real, because once you lose them, you're out. And that's what happened to me in the prequels.
Same.
All of us.
So many times. But there's some great, they actually did pull some of that stuff off, but
I think
you got to actually pull it all off.
Yeah. George Lucas got a little, even when they were interviewing the guy who was in charge, he was just like, I don't know, George, I don't know about this. And it's like, so I think George pushed it a little too far with the prequel.
He never failed up until that point, though.
Yeah.
That's actually a debate on whether or not he failed. I believe it could have been a little better.
Yeah.
But up until that point, every time he stepped up to bat, the son of a bitch hit a fucking
I know.
a grand slam, not even a home run.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
Indiana Jones.
Oh man.
Fucking American Graffiti.
Yep.
3 Star Wars films.
Yeah.
I know. It was interesting that they didn't touch on. I had to sort of remind myself, which of course is common knowledge to Star Wars fans, but while watching it, and you see them working on Empire and Jedi and talking about how they had to create so much more, and now there's a budget and the expectations, and he wasn't directing those movies.
No.
And I wondered if the reason he was able to be more present with the visual effects on those films is because he wasn't directing. And I don't know the answer to this, but do you think that he was like in the room more with ILM on those films?
Directing is like you can't think about anything else other than it's so encompassing that I'm glad he didn't direct for one.
Yeah,
because
same.
The heartbeat with the movie that to me that has the most heart is Empire Strikes Back.
Absolutely.
And George is actually smart to like choose Irvin Kershner because he's a character.
That's right.
He's like a character director and like he's good with conversations and feelings. I don't know. It would have been interesting to see like an indie director do the episode 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Because he directed all 3 of the prequels.
Yeah, and that's one of the things why everyone was that's why everyone was losing their shit on episode 1.
Yeah. Wrote the scripts with a little help to those prequels, and then even he got help on the writing on Empire and Jedi too.
I remember who is it? Lawrence Kasdan, who did direct. Kasdan directed these light and magic films.
That's right. Was it A New Hope, correct? That he there's a moment in the film, in the docu-series, where he is out directing. He's on set, like in England, or was it Tunisia or somewhere?
Both,
and they come back, and in theory, while he's been doing this, ILM's supposed to be getting all these effects things ready. Right. Of course, they're inventing things that hadn't been done before. And George is super bummed. He comes back, and it's like this dark moment. Yeah, that's right. They've got like 2 shots.
They got the pod drop shot where they see 3PO and R2 drop out of the pod, and then they had the guns on the Death Star.
Well, and I remembered that, and I wondered if that was a part of the calculus for him choosing not to direct the sequels, was him remembering that and wishing he could have been present during that whole time.
And not only was he not around, they couldn't send him like digital fucking files on the iPhone to see dailies, and they also didn't have like what they call an adult in the room. Yeah. To have a little bit of a quota. It's just a bunch of literal fucking rebels.
Kids, he almost had a heart attack. He's like, I left ILM after coming. I was like, I thought I had to go.
I understand the stress because
I thought about you.
He wasn't George Lucas yet.
Yeah.
So like even those fucking I hate suits. They fucking have the stupidest ideas sometimes. Oh they saved the princess. Don't worry about doing the ending. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
To be clear, so everyone knows, there's a moment where they talk about the studio was saying, just get rid of the whole Death Star fight and the whole thing. Like, they rescued the princess, that's in the movie. Can you imagine the original Star Wars without... I mean, that is It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's amazing how close
they were
to
probably just
failure
thinking about
that whole franchise. It's
Yeah.
and that's why, man, like I always have had a lot of respect for George, but I've have way more respect now after watching this.
yes.
Yeah. It's
If the worst thing that you've done is like introduce Jar Jar Binks into this operation, then I can kind of forgive that because you've done so much and you've taken so many risks and you've always put your money where your mouth is, and it seems like you take care of everyone.
Look, he struck out hard in the prequels, but he took big fucking swings.
Yeah,
He did take swings.
And I'd rather have people take big swings
Yeah.
and miss than play it safe.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, my issue is a lot. I can almost overlook the CG or like the digital aspect of the prequels. It's just the story was bad.
Amen.
So
Well
it's
said.
like
Totally agree.
The
at the
execution,
time I
yeah.
remember thinking this looks insane.
Yeah, I didn't.
because it was
Episode
impossible
1
to have.
actually looks pretty
Yeah,
good because they
episode
didn't
1
go full
isn't
digital
the
yet.
I
worst.
think you're right. Episode 1, for some reason, I think looks the best.
It looks the best
of all the prequels.
Well, I think
Needs a
he
lot of
says
miniatures.
Episode 2 is when they went full like sets, digital sets.
yeah.
They actually had a digital camera that time too.
That digital, they did all digital.
Got
I
it.
love how
Yeah.
he just bought digital projectors for movie theaters.
Fuck it, we'll just buy
Yeah.
He's like, we'll just buy them, $100,000 a piece, and I'll just buy them for him. It's like,
he seemed
okay.
to be pretty generous.
no, he's very,
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
well, he had a vision and he just wanted the world to know it. And
I mean,
he's an admirable man.
When he built ILM, that wasn't 20th Century Fox money. That was American Graffiti money.
Yeah.
I know. He put all
And he
his
wasn't
money
like
in there.
necessarily. I mean, he was rich, but he wasn't like
No,
No.
I
a
mean,
billionaire.
I'd be pissed
I
too.
know.
I mean, like, granted that they were doing unbelievable stuff, but I can imagine
Like George-
we've
there's
all
a-
been in that where maybe you're working your ass off all day,
Yeah.
and then your supervisor comes in,
Yep.
you're kind of goofing off, and you got it's like, ah, shit, and then it's like,
Remember the Shovels movie, Curtis, when we did that, and like after the first edit, and we're like, oh, we got some big changes to make. It's like, do you know that I just spent a month of my life killing myself to get that edit to where it was, only to have you guys say it needs to be fundamentally redone?
well,
That was a bad moment.
it was very. I actually almost had a panic attack if I didn't have a.
Yeah.
There was a suggestion that, and it was probably just like when everyone's in the room just throwing around ideas. There was a suggestion that absolutely wasn't going to work, and
Yeah.
I knew it, and I was like, and I couldn't say no.
I thought of you a lot watching those scenes play out. It's like, oh man, I've just had a front row seat to Curtis in some of these types of scenarios where there's deadlines and like just watching. I've seen you because you work really well under pressure, and you can see these guys, and they're also work. I mean, it depends how you define really well. Whether or not the ILM guys clearly they delivered.
Yeah.
So to me, they crushed it under pressure. Is
But-
my opinion. But when you get this kind of a glimpse behind the scenes, you can't help but feel for these dudes.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking like there is no rule book. They are making up.
yeah.
Pressure
They're
is
building cameras.
Yeah.
They're building.
And also George, man, like if Jar Jar looks wonky, we don't know who did the animation on Jar Jar.
Yeah.
But if Jar Jar looks wonky,
George Lucas made Jar Jar basically.
George Lucas is the motherfucker that's going to get the heat on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Totally
why he
true.
has to be a hard ass to those guys.
You know the irony for me, and I'll shut up after this one prequel comic 'cause I don't want to keep devolving into a
Yeah.
prequel conversation. Lord knows I hate Jar Jar. Jar Jar wasn't my biggest problem.
no.
You know what I mean? Like there could have been, it's fart jokes and bad dialogue
Yeah, fart
and
jokes.
stiff
Yeah.
acting
It's
and
terrible writing.
It's just not.
It's-
It's a poor screenplay. Like yes, Jar Jar.
trying to explain metachlorians. It's like it's like
God.
it's like showing the shark in Jaws. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
I don't want to see the shark.
Yeah.
I kind of like it when
Just
he's
how it is.
when he's scary.
But it's even worse than. Sorry, I'm. Doing
no,
it.
well,
We'll
no,
save
it-
this for the prequel episode. Cause
Yeah,
don't get me
yeah,
started.
we'll get in there.
It like
Yeah.
completely undermines everything Star Wars was built on, which is this kind of like spiritual approach
Yeah.
to thing. Now it's
Yeah.
just science.
Yeah.
It's all
I think
just
it was like you said, on the nose.
Yeah.
It's,
He was probably trying to like use some of the new age tech as discoveries coming and bridge the gap between science and spirituality, but just leave it
But
alone.
it's
got a little
relevant.
excited.
It's relevant to this conversation though, because again, it's so striking to watch George in the early days of creating ILM and seeing his approach and seeing where they had so many limitations.
Yeah.
And even when even in Empire and Jedi, where budget were not so much,
An
wasn't
issue?
so much
Yeah.
their problem as it was the same deal. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you got more money, but George wrote a story that has like 50 times more effect shots
Yeah.
than
He
I mean, what
pushed
did
them.
they say for Jedi? It had more effect shots in Jedi It had like 5 times more effects than whatever the previous record was.
Yeah,
for the
he
number of
pushed them.
effects.
He pushed them. And a lot of people think Jedi's the weakest. I love watching.
I love Jedi.
I love mine,
I
Jedi.
think they crush
It's
it.
my
like 'em all.
second favorite
Empire's
one to
the
watch.
best for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love
Jedi
the whole
rules.
trilogy.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
an alternate universe where George Lucas is homeless. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
like a lot of those
I
things
mean, they
didn't
were
fucking line
Totally
up.
true.
They were editing Star Wars the day of the premiere. They were still working on it.
Yeah.
That scene, I love that scene where they were all like having a celebratory low-key meal somewhere, and they looked across the street near the Chinese theater in LA.
What's going
and
on
they were
over
like,
there?
"What's going on over there? There's all these people at this movie. It was for fucking Star Wars." It's your movie."
in,
they were
in
like,
a world
"What?"
where like you had like
they couldn't believe that their movie. They didn't
no
even
social
know.
media, no internet.
Exactly.
It's like you find out things in the weirdest fucking way.
Yeah.
You got to leave your house.
It's
There
really
was-
true.
yeah,
like,
there
how
was-
else would you know?
There's a lot of nostalgia in
Yeah.
that first few episodes for me, where I was just
Totally.
like, you know,
Yeah,
I
it was
really
great.
I do miss that kind of exploration and
Yeah.
that kind of like mystery of things.
Community discovery.
Yeah, without
I bet.
having it just
Yeah.
thrown. It really kind of. I threw my phone. I have. Sometimes I think we all are. We have our phones on it, but I've been really like. I'll go outside. Like since watching the episodes, I put my phone away and I
Yeah.
go outside with my boys and we
Yeah.
go play and we go.
Yeah.
Just kind of like use the imagination. It was like kind of reopen my childhood memories of just having that kind of imagination and building on that. And I think that's very important. And it was nice at the end because the first 3 episodes are great, and then it kind of was like digital. But then when they brought it back with the volume, where they
Yeah.
kind of mixed the two worlds,
Yeah.
that volume thing.
The James Cameron stuff
Was
was cool too
insane.
because
Yeah.
it wasn't like overtaking. It was just little bits and bobs. It wasn't like complete.
I was
green
down
screen.
for all of it. I mean, little things I didn't know that I learned. John Knoll and his brother basically
Photoshop.
they invented Photoshop.
Yeah, I
just
mean,
in
like-
the process of going to ILM and getting their shit together, just because they needed a way to do this thing, they were like, "Well, what if we wrote some software fast?" And they'll go, we can call it. Let's call it Photoshop. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You mean the industry standard in
I
the
knew
year
that.
2022?
I use those dudes' invention every day.
It's insane. The amount of the groundbreaking tech they created over not
Pixar.
just 5 years,
Pixar, yeah.
3-4 decades through today. It's nuts.
It's there, and they won't stop, and it just keeps pushing forward. And he just knew who to find, and I think it made such a name for itself where people are like, I want to work.
Yeah.
there. I want to be a part of ILM. It's my dream to be a part of ILM.
Yeah.
And it is nice where it's like, I think for me, you lose some of the with the digital, but then when looking at this, it's like, no, it's incredible. This is what an incredible feat this is. It's still art.
Yeah.
Just because it's not more hands-on and on your hands and knees and getting dirty, it's the creation is there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're at a good place now. Like the opening battle scene in Revenge of the Sith feels very video gamey to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the battle in Rogue One feels very tactile to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rogue One felt great.
And that was all digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they figured it out.
They figured it out.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like was it John Farr when he was doing Iron Man? He was skeptical about the whole digital thing, and he couldn't tell the difference between the real suit and the CG suit.
I will say though, when they have both those suits up, the real suit does look better to me.
Yeah.
I don't even
Just
remember.
my
I don't know.
opinion.
I like the reflectiveness of the
I can't
CG
remember that
one.
scene.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
but-
almost too good.
It's almost too good. I
yeah.
agree with that.
Wonder what episode that was on.
Did I
that
miss
was the
an
last
episode?
episode.
Have I not watched the last episode?
the last episode
They're
had
all-
there's 6.
They're all released, right? There's not like
Yeah,
one
oh,
that
yeah,
was-
yeah.
Yeah,
The
they're
last
just
one
out.
focused on like there was some Mando shot where they had the volume, which was insane. The volume. Did you not see that episode?
I mean, I've seen. I remember Favreau talking in one of the episodes.
Well, the volume like that where it's just that sphere of screens and like all of the Mando shots are on and it's like the most insane looking. So instead of having like a green screen behind you and acting, they literally have the real. It's basically you get to see what the green screen is going to become.
if it's the last
and it's-
episode,
it's way
It's kind of like
I
rear
might have gotten-
projection, but with HD light. But when the camera moves,
It moves.
the actual program knows where the camera is, and it gives you that view.
Oh wow,
It's insane.
It's kind of. I
it's like
think
a
it's
just
it's,
perspective. To
yeah,
match.
it's video game technology. I
Yeah.
forgot the name of it.
I don't know, but it's
Real Engine,
I might have-
maybe.
I might have gotten too stoned, honestly, and
Yeah.
I started getting. I might have like drifted and asleep at that. If it's the last episode,
yeah, it's the last
Because I was so into it that I couldn't turn it off.
That's
And I
the
stayed
last
up too
episode.
late
Yeah.
watching.
I
The
went
last episode
through.
got me a lot.
I rolled through it until I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
But if I started in the morning, I could have got through that in one day.
yeah.
Same. I remember
Yes.
thinking like I don't want to turn this off, but it's like 12:30, and for my 40-year-old ass, that's late.
Yeah.
Get to
So
bed.
I was like,
Get the fucking bed.
There was a few times I was watching it at bed. I was like, I was really, and I was trying to read the subtitles, and I was just like, I got to turn this off because I was so invested in it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to miss anything. But I mean, what an unbelievable documentary.
I expected it to be great,
Yeah.
but
was
it
good.
felt like a special treat
Yeah.
to have it be that good.
Yeah.
Because there's not a current Star Wars thing going, and this to me would be just as good if, I mean, we've already talked about Obi-Wan. I don't know that I didn't enjoy this as much,
George's
honestly.
Oh yeah.
It kind of
a
changed.
I'm
different
more
brain,
excited about
but-
this than any series.
Yeah.
Or
It-
anything else that's going on. I was more, and this is something that I'll probably just have on in the
Yeah.
background while I'm working over the course of my
Yeah.
lifetime.
I
It's
knew
so
it. I thought to
inspiring.
myself, I was like, Curtis is going to fall asleep watching this for the rest of his life.
It's so inspiring, and
It changed
and
the way I
love
thought, yeah.
that they actually you get to feel the human. You get to learn about these people's lives,
yeah.
and like when they showed so much promise as like young kids without the internet to be able to make some of the short the not even student films, like
Yeah.
the little kid films that they made when under 8 million.
Unbelievable.
They showed
Exactly.
insane promise.
Totally.
Like I don't like fuck, man.
It made me feel like an idiot. Like,
Those
like,
kids-
so
yeah.
like they're making these films in like the
But they didn't have
50s and,
YouTube.
like,
Where the fuck did they get that
but they were
information?
just like, well, that's why, like I say with my kid, it's like the curiosity
Yeah.
of that is just so
They
awesome.
could see it in their brain, and they
Yeah.
just made it work.
So they're making
somehow.
these
They had like a
amazing-
magazine, the
Yeah.
Monster magazine, and maybe
Yeah.
like Fangora, and
Maybe,
maybe
yeah.
something. But like they were just piecing it together,
Is Fangoria still a
experiment.
magazine?
probably. But I don't know.
I used to
Oh, man.
love that shit.
Yeah, I got a few old ones around. I got like the Back to the Future 2 Fangora
during that
around
like
here.
80s like Pumpkinhead and those like horror movies,
Yeah.
all that, and they would
Man.
break down all the gory effects and that shit.
Something was cool about magazines, dude. You weren't just bombarded with information all the time, like
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
a month or once a week. You-
I agree, but I'm laughing. We sound so old. Listen
Yeah.
to us.
I mean,
Remember
we probably do.
magazines? Those were the
Remember
days.
those things?
We probably do to care if like the internet wasn't around when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I honestly, and I think I'm a better artist for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I love this. I'm gonna embarrass you a little bit, but it's meant to. It's complimentary. Curtis and I spent a lot of time together, also working on projects where we've essentially lived together.
We've been
for
through
months
hell
on end.
together.
We've been through a lot together in these projects, and one of my favorite things about Curtis is he's such a. I'm saying this to like illustrate how devoted you are to your craft. Curtis watches behind the scenes documentaries about filmmaking so much that he crashes earlier than I do most of the time, and I have memories of going to bed and knowing that he's fully asleep, but I can still hear on his iPhone he's either watching just straight up Empire as is, or he's watching a behind the scenes, and I can hear it. And there's something kind of awesome when I go to bed knowing that Curtis is passed out, but somewhere, even subconsciously, his brain is still absorbing every morsel and nugget of information on how to tell these stories. It's like one of my small little pleasures when we were like in the same place on a project for a while, is that like, man, this dude literally never, he is so committed to this shit that he doesn't stop thinking.
I find it all entertaining. I love behind the scenes stuff.
Well,
And,
so
just see
exciting.
all those little weirdos, those little kindred souls. Like, fuck, I forgot the guy's name. He's kind of the main guy at ILM. He's got the cool old long hair.
Oh yeah.
Dykstra?
No,
Dice
he
was like the main.
he was
but
the first
He's like
guy.
the dude
He
that's
got
been around
fired.
forever.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I forget.
Oh,
His
you
name.
mean Tippett?
No,
Dennis Muren?
Tippett's best friend.
Yeah,
Dennis
the guy
Muren.
who went.
Dennis Muren,
Yeah,
man.
Dennis
See his
Muren,
like
yeah.
little head pop up from the ET set.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, weirdo.
I love
I
Dennis
got
I
you,
love
man.
that guy. I love how he.
I
want to
run into that guy.
Yeah.
because I think like that was important.
It was.
and I think it was important to have a guy like that be
Correct.
committed to change because he was there at the beginning. He was there
Yeah.
creating models and thinking of those shots.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's a soft.
Yeah.
He's not like Steve Jobs. He's like, just do it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's impossible. It's just like, just think about it.
Yeah,
But
he's a lot of
also-
heart, yeah.
But he also knew that it's about telling the story.
Yeah.
And even if
Yeah.
a part of his ego didn't want to give up all the skills they had and sort of craft they invented, he had to at some point stand back and say, yeah, but you know what? This just works better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is work. I would love for this not to be the case, but this is just objectively a more
What do you
realistic depiction.
And dude, like, all y'all have edited video before.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that without
Oh,
a
I thought
non-linear.
that so many times. When you see
And
George sitting
did it,
there
and
with
they
the
didn't invent it, but they're the ones they're the first motherfuckers to. I think
know.
Avid
Yeah.
came from the editing droid.
Yeah.
And Avid is the one, and Avid is the reason why there's Final Cut and Premiere.
Pro Tools.
Exactly.
Pro Tools. Yeah. Oh God, not even getting into the sound.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
Fucking Ben
imagine
Burt.
all the analog. I don't even know the process.
Yeah.
It's funny the way these ILM guys, like I don't know about you, but I can like Ben Burt, Dennis Muren, Dykstra on the first
fucking Burt,
film,
John
fucking
Knoll.
Phil Tippett, Stan Winston later. You know what I mean? Like these guys to me, it's like the fucking Bulls in the '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
These
I
guys
can
are
list
rock stars.
the fucking varsity squad on these guys.
I do.
My life. Oh no.
These guys are my heroes way more
Knoll.
than any actor or like
Yeah.
a Brad Pitt or these dude. Like these people are just badasses.
There's nothing without him. There really is. There's nothing without him. I mean, you do need. This is also coming from a guy who cannot act. I am not an actor in any means.
I bet you,
I've tried. I remember I tried once.
Being a
I
little
did an
humble.
audition and I just froze. I was like,
I think you'd be great at
I
it.
think you could too.
If you got over that fear.
I
fully
did an
agree.
audition for something, and I felt like, oh God, this is easy. It was for Shakespeare, and I just remember getting out on the stage, and I was just like,
But Shakespeare's a motherfucker.
Yeah, but
that's
still,
a tall
I mean, I
order.
just don't
Yeah, I mean,
have
Jesus
the,
Christ, Shakespeare? Who the fuck even knows what those people are
But
saying?
the thing is, like, I have a great memory, and like literally 10 minutes like before, I could spout that monologue off like it was nothing. And there was I don't know. I have a hard time kind of immersing myself in that. There is something to be said about
Acting is hard.
yeah, it's nutty, but.
Being able to not act like you're acting is very difficult.
Yeah, but there's something magical about this crew, and that's what
Yeah.
they really drew me in. I was just like, what a fantastic
Yeah.
group of folks that just
They're all risk takers. They're all like, fuck it.
but they're not working. They're not working to like build their egos. They're working to create something, and I love that. I love when people work together, and to create art and do something that's just I love that.
There's so many moments that also could never have happened in the 21st century. Like, remember when John Knoll I think he was like graduating high school, and he went on a work trip with his dad, and he just like in the hotel pulled up Industrial Light and Magic in the phone book, called at the front desk, and
That's
said,
so
"Hey, I'm
old
blah, blah, blah."
school.
Didn't tell them he was 15 years old. His dad drops him off at ILM before his dad goes off to his conference that he's there for the day, and the people at ILM literally, like Dykstra and all of them, like show him around. Fast forward a handful of years later, he gets hired at ILM and ends up inventing Photoshop with his brother and working on everything, and it's like
they probably didn't even
I love
get
that.
a lot of calls. No. You know what I mean? Because you'd like
that's what I'm saying. The fact that he could just call him up in the phone book and then be getting a tour 2 hours later. Like right now, what would you do? You don't have a chance at that.
There's no chance of that.
I think they're running, but now I have the Vulture. We haven't ran the Vulture, so I need to flip those two things.
Those little doohickey.
You mean the cameras?
Yeah, next time.
Oh yeah,
we
next
need to flip our Vulture. The
Well,
Vulture's all hot wired.
Well, we could go on and on about it, but it's really a special documentary series.
It's so inspiring.
There's so many fun moments. I mean, we could sit here for 3 hours and go through the little.
And who knows, man? Maybe we do another fucking episode.
Yeah,
about
I do
like
hope.
it.
I don't know how much more of this kind of stuff they have, but I'm hoping that part of the Disney acquisition means that they got a lot of access to this BTS, and who knows? Maybe there'll be some sort of massive docuseries on. I know there's been lots of docuseries in the making of Star Wars already, but man, I wonder if there's a lot more. I just had never seen some of this BTS, and through Curtis, I've seen a lot of it over the years. But the fact that there's this much footage out there that none of us have seen,
I didn't know.
It makes me wonder what else is there that's not specific.
Some of the old
to
George
ILM.
interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
Little geeky fucker.
Like, is there more on-set stuff with
hope
the
so.
actors that we've never seen?
I'm with
Probably.
you, Curtis, where it's like I enjoy
Also-
watching this kind of shit more than like movies sometimes.
Also, this isn't as much of a deep dive on effects, but building it. What's it called? Something. The
Building an Empire?
Building an Empire.
Yeah,
that's a
good.
fucking badass.
I love
fucking
that.
doc.
That came with the. I remember
It came with the
set.
trilogy
I
of
remember the trilogy set.
something
it
of
was
something
the special
something.
edition.
Maybe it makes you wonder how much there is that's not included in that, though, because that did.
I want to see like deep dives on specific shots.
Yeah.
Like when they're talking about hovering over, like when what's his name is like, I don't think we can do this moving shot of the. I'd like to know how they. I'd like to see a 15-minute deep dive on how they actually did it.
Yeah.
Remember when they did the mock-up of the speeder bike chase, and it's like fucking action figures?
It's
Yeah.
like Barbie dolls.
Got it. But it's amazing though, because then when
Just so you know, that probably took 3 weeks.
yeah, exactly. And then they were brilliant because they did the split screen where you see their early animatic versus the finished part. It's like, honestly,
whoever edited this fucking thing is
it's almost shot for shot the same in terms of just like the framing and the storyboarding component of it. It's great.
Yeah, it's very difficult to fucking edit if you don't by stills.
Yeah.
Damn, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Well, it's great.
They're the best of the best.
It's great.
They're the best of the best. Speaking of best, I think we have. We love hearing from people, and we know we have a great video message from one of our day one guys.
Yeah,
Armando,
fellow scoundrel.
We're gonna play that for you.
Let me lock that
Curtis,
in.
pop that into the Vulture.
Boom. Deep boot. Another boot.
What up, scoundrels? Hi, my name's Armando, and I'm another grown-ass man. I think I'm a little older than you guys. I just wanted to drop a line to you, Chris, Paul, and Curtis, and congratulate you guys on the show. I think the show is really good. I think I'm one of the day one guys, and I just wanted to tell you guys that I like the show because you guys are literally the only ones that said anything negative about the prequels. It feels like the fandom right now is, in love. They're all Dave Filoni dick riders, and to me, that's not Star Wars. I'm not a fan of the prequels. Matter of fact, my Instagram account sans prequels on purpose. And I did that because there's been a sea change or revisionist history in the fandom. Everybody's in love with the prequels. The prequels haven't gotten better, and everybody's in love with all the Dave Filoni cartoons. I'm sorry, I saw Clone Wars. There was a theatrical run of Clone Wars, a movie. I went to the movie theater, I saw it, and it wasn't for me. And I remember feeling like, this isn't Star Wars. I mean, yeah, it has the music, it has lightsabers in it, but it doesn't, they can't capture Star Wars, in my opinion, in animation. It feels, all this stuff, the prequels, all this Ahsoka, I don't give a damn about Ahsoka. All that stuff feels like Star Wars adjacent. And no offense to anybody that likes it, to each your own. We're all curating our own Star Wars. And I'm happy for all the prequel kids. Matter of fact, I saw somebody at Celebration wearing a shirt said a prequel kid. I get it. It's nostalgia, but there's some point where they have to, realize that the movies are not good. I mean, that was wasn't it the last scene in the movie Fanboys? You remember the director intentionally put that scene when they're finally watching Phantom Menace and they look at each other and go, what if the movie's not good? That's because everybody was on board. The movies were bad and they haven't aged well. I wasn't around when Casablanca or Citizen Kane or The Godfather were in the theaters, but I can tell you that those are better movies than what's in the theater today. So I digress, but I just wanted to say I like the show. I look forward to the show, every episode you guys have. I really like your position because it's very rare. You guys are, and myself included, are in the minority as far as the prequels and what you guys like, and the sequels too. I'm an OG Star Wars guy, or a trilogy guy, but I don't hate the sequels. They were better, in my opinion. They're better. I can watch those. They're at least watchable compared to the prequels. They're flawed movies, and I have a lot of problems with them, but not as much as people in the fandom have right now. There's hatred for the sequels right now, that's another subject. But if you guys have a show on the sequels, I'll be happy to send a transmission to the Vulture. But I just wanted to send a message to you guys. Keep up the good work. I love the banter, the vulgarity. The panel wall motif. I love it all. And you guys are doing a good show. Congratulations on the subs. My name is Armando. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's Sans Prequels. That's intentional because I'm trying to, keep up the resistance for the original trilogy. And peace. May the force be with you.
Nice.
Yeah.
We love Armando.
Armando's got a great Instagram account.
Yeah.
It's called Sans Prequels, which selfishly we love because you can imagine what that means. And you saw his note, so it's no secret. But Armando's great. So to that end, this is an example. If anyone's got thoughts, comments, questions, just wants to talk shit along with us, send us videos. We'd love to be able to put in 5 of these every time we do an episode if y'all got something to say.
Also, your fucking collection.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a collection. I will send you some of my stuff, but your collection is fucking awesome.
Armando, we admired your collection and we admired your Tupac t-shirt.
Also, yeah, dude, could you maybe send us in a clip of some of your pieces?
Oh yeah. He's got great photos
Looks
on
like
his
you got
Instagram of all of his toys and stuff. He's always posting great stuff.
Looks like you got 2 Millennium Falcons, and one of them looks like some shit that I never seen. I have a walker back there I can show y'all.
Nice. Well, speaking of cool visual effects and things that look great, we just watched the Andor.
Yeah, that was the other main thing to talk about.
We did watch it.
And
it looks cool.
It looks really good. I'm excited.
It looks great.
The vibes there, the feels there. I loved Rogue One. I thought that was like a really cool movie. I like that character, and I think there's a lot happening in this trailer.
There is,
and I don't know if anyone knows how long it is. I know we get 3 episodes right off the gun.
3?
It said. That's
shit!
what I was talking about.
When you said that, I thought it was 2.
3 episode premiere on September 21st.
Fucking clear the calendar.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jesus,
so, exactly.
We ain't got shit to do that day, I guess.
I love they can't kill him.
It looks.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I was gonna.
Oh yeah, you're right. You can't die.
What it will feel like to watch a series centered around a character that we know cannot.
Yeah.
You can only get so bad.
Well, it's
for
like
him.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, right.
Feel like,
I guess that's true. We just did that. You're right. I wonder what that would be like. You mean like last month when you just?
Yeah. Well, it's also there's something more exciting about
Anakin.
these. I like when they're like, even though it's not technically new characters, and then we've got like characters we know from A New Hope. But I like these kind of side pieces of Star Wars. I find like Mando, these side stories. I think they're almost better because the stakes aren't as high.
Correct.
They're kind of close to like the main trilogy or the main characters, but they're not so close where like you're gonna fuck something up.
Yeah.
By like having Princess Leia be around for like 40 years.
Yeah.
Correct.
And not ever going the fuck home.
Those characters come with so much baggage because assholes like us have watched them for 40 years, so we have all this preconceived notions, and those notions are different for every fan.
Yeah, it's true.
So you're never gonna please everybody. If we're stoked, that means there's a huge amount of people that are fucking miserable, and vice versa. When we're bitching about Obi-Wan, I'm sure you guys have all noticed, if you go online, a lot of people think the Obi-Wan series was genius from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And it's not a secret.
I think it
what we
was kind
felt.
of like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to us, and we're not really religious people, but to use a religious analogy, to us, the original trilogy is literally the 2 stone tablets that fucking Moses came down with.
Amen.
And the prequels are like some shit that dude named John Smith just showed up and made up.
Yeah.
Totally.
Even
Check this
though
out. Look in this
George
hole.
Lucas did.
Close your eyes and look in the hole.
It's like John Smith. He's like, where'd you get this information? Oh, I found these gold discs in a fucking forest. And then everybody's like on board. Like, dude, we're just trying to get people to watch
I don't know
them.
where I put them, but they're trust me.
Magic underwear, multiple wives, the whole thing.
Yeah, the original trilogy
Marry our cousins.
was carried down from the creator. And I know you guys are gonna say that George Lucas did create fuck, who gives a shit? Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
fuck y'all.
I
Just
think
joking, we
Andor
love you
looks
guys.
good. The shots, like I think you mentioned it in the trailer. It's like, where were those shots in Kenobi with the fucking Star Destroyers?
It looks beautiful.
Like,
Yeah,
I
it
feel
looks
like
gorgeous.
there's so much more tactile just from this trailer.
Yeah.
That we're gonna get that we didn't get in Kenobi.
Like, was Kenobi fucking rushed?
I don't know. I think they were trying to do it. Maybe I don't know.
Some of the set pieces felt low budge. I remember we said that at the time,
especially when they were on that desert planet.
Yeah.
The scale of the Andor series from the trailer already looks bigger,
Massive,
than what we saw in the Obi-Wan series. Now, a trailer can be misleading, but I remember watching. I think we talked about it. The Obi-Wan trailer was cool, but there were
directed
caveats.
Andor? Do y'all know?
I don't know.
That's a great question. It just said from the creators of Rogue One.
Nice.
I could pull it up on the.
Yeah, that's a great question.
But it looked like Star Wars, and it's like I got like, it looked
the
pretty
Vulture.
high budget just from the trailer. Like
maybe a slightly more adult as well,
I
or
like
not.
that.
That's a weird way to put it.
I say that-
just serious in tone. I guess maybe.
I say everything's gonna be more adult until it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until like Boba Fett has like somehow like he cares about people.
Yeah. Well, I like how
Jesus,
the actor who
correct.
plays Boba was like, I would like another season, and I would like it to not be.
I'd like to go back to being.
I'd like to be a badass. Yeah.
Are they going to do that?
That doesn't happen a lot where the actors admit that normally they're like, "Oh, this is great," and this is. He's like, "I wish."
The most badass that Boba Fett was that
Mando episode.
At that Mando episode where he turned up, he shot everyone, and he was like, "Listen, y'all, I'm in town.
Check this out.
This is my fucking house
like
now.
A fucking
Fill
bat
my
out of
helmet
hell.
with gold.
Yes.
And listen to what I gotta say.
Crushing skulls with a stick. It's like, Jesus
Robert
Christ.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. Well, then we got when does the Mandalorian season 3 come? That's what December.
Oh yeah, they're filming it.
It's happening.
I don't know
Is
what
it
they're
December?
I don't. I know
thought
it's
it was
soon.
early
It
next
might early
year.
New Year, maybe February.
Yeah. First quarter next year.
I know we're probably gonna get some trailers for that pretty soon.
Here's an Andor question. So
Tony Gilroy, y'all know who that is?
No.
no, but the name sounds familiar. Like he was working on other Star Wars shit.
He, I guess, was probably a producer, or he was a writer for Rogue One.
Okay,
Or one of them.
Is he directing or Andor,
Oh man,
or is he just writing it again? Either way, it's a win.
this is
but-
like the Vulture system's bullshit.
Yeah,
I
that's
got to
okay.
get an update, but
Well,
let me. I'll
what do we
find
think?
out.
So timeline. Where do we think this Andor? So based on what we saw, Mon Mothma's there. There's clearly the Imperial Senate, although maybe it's the Galactic Senate at that point. So like, I guess in the context of Episode 3 and A New Hope, because Rogue One obviously goes right up to literally the moment of you can go from like shot to shot when
to New Hope. Literally steps right.
So
into
do we
New
think
Hope.
this is like how? So this might overlap with. Could this overlap with what we just watched Obi-Wan?
I bet it's
timeline?
farther past it. I'd say maybe it looked to me like 5 years maybe before Rogue One or something like that. So I'm thinking because
How many episodes of Andor is there?
I don't know. Kenobi's 10 years before New Hope, right? Or 9 years before New Hope?
All right,
Because-
I got some information when y'all are ready.
Okay,
hit me with
you hit
King
it because I'm just speculating over here.
It looks like there's this dude named Benjamin Caron who's directed 12 episodes of Andor.
Oh, that's
And then there's a dude, a person named Susanna White who's directed 9 episodes of Andor.
They must be co-directors.
And then there's this cat. Oh, you may be right. And then there's this cat named Toby Haynes. Haynes has done 1 episode.
Must be 12 episode series.
But it also said there's 2 seasons.
Did you say HANUS like heinous anus?
Heinous anus.
I don't. It's
Sorry.
HAYNES.
It's right there. I was thinking
somebody
it.
had to-
I mean, I was like,
He's a laughing
don't say
hyenas.
Just because I'm 40 doesn't mean I don't have the brain of a 9-year-old.
yeah, I was right there with you.
You're like, is someone going to address this? Or
In my head, I was like, that sounds like anus.
Siri, I don't know, man. Well, it looks like there's maybe 2 episodes already. There's already committed to 2 seasons.
Jesus.
I mean, again, if it's good, that's fucking great news.
Yeah, I'll take it.
It looks good.
So you said that one of the guys has 12. So I guess what I'm getting at is we know now that there's at least a 12 episode series.
Maybe or 2 seasons or
6.
6 episodes. Maybe
I
they're
don't know,
trying.
it would
to,
be kind of weird to sit like if you're doing just 6 episodes and you're gonna dish out 3 at the top.
I'll bet it's 12 for one
you know what?
season.
This information is probably out. We just don't.
Yeah, we
give
just
a fuck.
So some of y'all are probably watching
I've been
this
staying
like,
off my phone because of the
Yeah,
lights
yeah,
and
right.
magic. I've been like staying away from the internet. It's
Yeah.
I
really
was
kinda-
actually working on miniatures.
coulda, shoulda, woulda done our homework maybe.
Yeah. Well, we were just so excited to get back.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Well, it looks great. So I guess it'd be really interesting to see how much, like, do we think this series will work as a prequel to Rogue One in terms of subject matter?
Yeah.
Like, will they talk about the beginnings of the Death Star plans and this, that, and the other, or is it just going to be an introduction to Andor and whatever he's getting into? Based on the trailer, it seems like his origin story.
Yeah, I think so because it's when you watch Rogue One, he's already established. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this
Yeah.
guy's already. So I think it's just.
It would be
his-
kind of interesting if they left off right where Rogue One starts. 'Cause,
Yeah.
he's like, can you kind of like running through the streets with fucking shooting
Yeah,
some
well,
dude?
that's kind of what I'm wondering if, and to this is maybe relevant to the multiple seasons or not. If it's just one season, then it could be that. If they know we're going to make one 12-episode season,
Right.
and we're going to start with his origin story and end with literally from like almost shot to shot leading up to where
That'd
Rogue
be
One.
rad.
That would be rad if it's great. And the other thing that, this would be a first world problem, if it's amazing and Andor becomes this new beloved character
it's
in
like
the Star
the
Wars
new
world,
Mando.
Yeah.
that's a great moment, except we already know he dies.
die?
So
Yeah.
it's like bittersweet if it rules.
That's true.
Because you're
How are
like,
they going to play that?
you
But
can't make
it's
more.
also good just to let a motherfucker
Well,
die.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Let him die.
In Star Wars, for God's sake. Who's
right.
not dead?
Everybody
Boba Fett,
these days, the Emperor.
the Emperor. That's kind of lame. That's probably the lamest
That's
out
the
of
lamest.
people that have died.
Yeah. Apparently, Reva can take lightsabers to her whole body cavity.
Yeah, they didn't even
Maul
wait to
gets
bring her
chopped in
ass
half,
back.
He comes back.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody dies in Star Wars anymore, actually, now that we think.
Right.
Nobody.
I really wish Luke didn't die.
Yeah.
But that's literally another podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I mean,
tough.
Andor looks great. I have no reason to be anything but excited about it.
I hope they go to Endor on Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pick up some Endo.
And
Remember those two
down
fucking
the
weird
street.
ass movies they made on Endor? That was like way for TV movies, like
Oh,
Caravan of Courage
Yeah.
or some bullshit, and then like The Adventures of Dickweed and
Adventures of Dickweed
and fucking beep that.
oh man,
Adventures of Two Weirdos from the 80s.
when are they gonna do an Ewoks?
And they had these like low budget
series?
villains on it. Look, oh my
I
goodness.
think that might be the best.
Is that
thing
canon?
any of these.
Is that canon?
I'm gonna hold on to the Adventures of Dickweed.
It's probably on Disney fucking Plus.
Oh
Disney
yeah,
Plus should
there's
be
an
paying
Ewok
us.
show.
But
My brother's his first wife. She was the voice of the baby in the
What?
Ewok cartoon.
who?
Yeah.
Your first wife?
No, my brother's. God rest. She passed away.
So
she
we
was
can't-
sweet, but I was.
We
in
can't
love with
fact
this.
check this shit.
No, you can. Leanne. She was the. You can go on. She's on IMDb. She's the voice of the baby in Ewoks, that
wow.
animated series. And
Well,
I
what-
remember thinking
I watched that.
What's the thing I watched at one point that was so terrible that was like a family of Wookiees?
Oh, that was the
Yeah.
holiday special.
The-
And
is that the holiday special?
Yeah.
Okay, Caravan of Courage and the Battle for Endor.
Okay.
It looks like Rob Lowe. Like some Rob Lowe's on the ballot. Some like they couldn't even get Rob Lowe for this. It's like his name is like Rob High.
Curtis,
Todd High.
can we make a little short about like I think you just invented two characters that need to have their own story.
I don't know if I could say those characters.
Well, it's not a slander. They're probably awesome characters.
Yeah.
They sound badass.
Yeah, I was gonna
Solving
say.
crimes.
Homogenous?
It's not an insult. They sound like they have great adventures. They're heroes.
Heroes.
I want to see what's up with Dickweed. What are they getting into today?
Oh man. Well, I feel positive again.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
good.
And also the last episode of Obi-Wan, we were not bad. We liked it. We liked it.
we liked
Yeah.
the last episode,
And-
but it feels good to have some like light and magic.
We are
kinda
getting
pump
this
us up.
sense of what this is the new era of Star Wars fandom,
Yeah,
though, right? It's
yeah.
like the boom and bust cycles of like, ooh, this is gonna be good. It looks great, and then it's like,
Is it though?
Yeah.
But some of Mando has been great.
But if they
Mando's
do
been
screw
great.
up Andor, it's really not that big of a deal.
correct,
Yeah.
another
If you
reason,
screw up Obi-Wan, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kinda.
it's yet another reason why I think all of us, I shouldn't say all of us, I know all of us in this
Yeah.
room, but I don't want to see any more original character stories. I'm far more excited and genuinely
Yes.
interested
Yeah.
in new stories in the sandbox.
yes.
It's
but
always
new
cool when an
characters.
OG guy swoops through.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
nice to pepper it in.
Right.
Last thing I see, I hate when people are doing fan where you see like Vader series. It's like shut up, shut your stupid mouth. I don't want to hear it.
Vader series could be awesome,
It
but
could be, but
probably
I mean,
won't be.
do I trust them? Not
Fuck
really.
no. After watching Obi-Wan, the last thing I ever... I'm not kidding. In the top 3 things I never want them to make is a Vader series.
yeah.
I have a
They'll
pitch
blow
for
it.
Lucasfilm.
Yeah?
6-part Vader series. Never use the Imperial March once.
Yeah, here's an idea. Oh wait,
Let's see if we can pull it off.
I was going to say, I think they made that.
Oh, wait
it's
a
called
minute.
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
And when you film him, make sure he looks like a bitch.
Yeah.
Make sure he looks like a punk ass. Film him in handheld,
Yeah.
like it's some like fucking student film. Don't use dynamic camera angles, and definitely don't use the Imperial March.
Why would you?
Yeah.
And
I
he-
think you'd be great. I think
And
it'd
he
be fucking
can't handle
fantastic.
fire.
Yeah.
He can't handle fire. Fire's
Yeah.
like a
Scares him.
kryptonite.
Yeah, he's maybe
Scares
the
him.
Scares him. He gets scared too.
second baddest motherfucker in the universe, but he just,
wow.
certain things he can't do.
Oh,
Well,
man.
that's Star Wars. We love it. We hate it. And,
Right.
but yeah, it
It wouldn't
affects
be
us.
Star Wars if we weren't a little salty
Yeah,
at some
it's
point.
right.
Trimmer in the fucking force.
That's how you know you care, right?
Yeah. Well, it's been fun.
Yeah.
I think it's good to be back.
Good to be back. We'll
we'll-
probably get maybe one more out before.
Yeah.
We'll try to get another something going before we jump into Andor.
Next episode, we're deep dive on Metachlorians.
Yeah.
Yep, deep
God
dive.
damn it. I'm gonna have to I might have to come in via hologram. For
Closing
that
thoughts, and any of you fuckers?
No, excited for Andor.
Yeah. Well, we are excited, dude.
Light and Magic kind of changed my perspective on life.
Yeah.
Light and Magic
If you haven't
changed my
watched that, you
fucking
gotta
life.
go. Just
Those
watch it.
dudes
watch
changed
it.
my life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
George, obviously.
It really changed the way I
Thank you, George.
want to live.
Yeah.
Really, dude. Turn off your fucking
And to be
phone.
clear, when Andor
Unless you're
starts,
watching.
we intend to be consistent the way we were on Obi-Wan with Andor.
Yeah, we're gonna do our.
We'll do
we're
weekly
gonna fucking pull it
episodes,
off.
and we'll get in the rhythm, and we'll
Yeah.
get everything going.
We're gonna
so.
nail it.
Oh,
But
kill it.
anyway, all right.
Well, thanks, y'all.
Punch it, Curtis.
Okay, let's get the fucking.